Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Tea Time. All things brands and PR and brands. Oh my God, there's so much going on, so many cool, new, innovative ways that people are expanding their brand, growing their brand awareness, and building visibility for themselves and their organization. And that's really what PR is about, telling your story and finding ways to connect with your target audience in the media. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring on a star. Oh, wait, she has PR stars. That seems to have mastered the art of helping people get visibility. She even has visibility parties. So if you like to party and you're trying to grow your brand, you got the right girl today. Let's welcome Miss Heather Burgett.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me, Tanya.
I am so excited to have you here today. I want you to tell the people, what is PR to you?
That's a great question. And so often that is the thing that kind of makes business owners' eyes cross. They're like, what is it? We don't know. It's this mysterious, mystical thing. And so the most simple way of explaining it that I could say is truly it's about leading the conversation about who you are and what you're doing in the world and whom you're doing it for, and really putting yourself out there in that way that feels good, aligned to reach your ideal client or customer, right? So they know that you're the one who does that thing and they come to you to do it.
Now, talk about your business in particular. What is your niche? Who is your ideal client? And then how did you figure that out? Because, most people think that what they have to offer is for everybody. I am for everybody. But we all know you have to have a target audience. So talk about your business and your target audience and how you decided that was your target audience. Like, help them out. Tell the people.
So what I would say is I started with my background in more of the entertainment publicity world. So clearly, a lot of that had to do around lifestyle, entertainment, film, TV, events, galas, festivals, all of those kinds of things. But over the past few years, I've actually evolved my own business into the online space where I'm teaching business owners and creatives how to get their own publicity. And a lot of times, what I'll say is that our audience finds us and tells us where we're needed. And that makes it a little easier to figure out where to go, where to niche down. So, really, I've found that the people that resonate most with what I'm doing are the consultants and the creatives. So, whether you're a coach, a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, a business owner, a founder, whoever you are, if you're putting something into the world, right, like a program, a product, your talents, those are the people that I'm helping the most right now.
That's cool. So it didn't start that way. So that wasn't initially your target audience, but that's who you serve now.
Yeah, it's kind of been an evolution and a mix. Being that I had my background as an entertainment publicist in Los Angeles in the beginning, I was attracting largely the creatives, but it's merged more into helping more of the business owners as time has gone on.
One of the things I hope to accomplish with this platform is helping business owners recognize that every genre, every industry needs PR, even if you have to do it yourself. Maybe you're not to a point where you're hiring an agency or a PR pro, but you might have to do it yourself. Explain to the people why it's important to have a PR strategy in everything that they do.
That is a great question, Tanya. I'm glad you're asking that because that is one of the biggest things I'm out there in terms of myth busting and trying to do is that so many people think that PR is for later, that it's only for famous people, when in reality, it is having the good PR, right? Knowing how to put yourself out there and in that aligned way and managing your image, your reputation, how you want to be received by the public at large. Getting ahead of that is so important. And when you do that, you actually, that's the thing that will take you to being known or a household name, or if you're looking for that fame or celebrity status. So the people that are having successful PR, it's because they have a strategy in place.
Absolutely. Now, part of that strategy is having a strong brand. We know that. It's my favorite word because People think brand, they hear brand, and it's kind of cliche to them. My brand, my brand. But what is a brand? Explain to the people, what is your brand and why do you have to have a solid brand as your foundation for any PR efforts, any marketing efforts? Your brand comes first.
Yeah, and that's, obviously one of your fabulous expertises that you came in and shared with my community, and they're still talking about your teachings and training. They loved it. So really, like your brand, I like to say that we want you to become known and become synonymous with the thing that you're doing in the world, your business. So your name, who you are, your personal brand really becomes synonymous with what you're doing, so that when people think of you and what you're doing, they know you're that go-to person for that thing. So the positioning is so important, like first being able to position yourself in the marketplace as one of the go-to experts in that area. So when you craft your brand, right, that's where it's the alignment of what you're doing, how you're doing it, whom you're serving, the outcomes and solutions you're bringing. And when you can say that and package that up in a really concise way, that's when you have that aligned brand.
Oh my God. So you just said something that I absolutely love, which is solutions. People need to understand that they are a solution to a problem. That is your business. And the unique way that you solve the problem based on your brand and your expertise, that's your thought leadership. How much do you lean into thought leadership? And then you said your group. Tell us about your group. What group?
Well, in moving into the online space, now I was a natural introvert for 2 decades. I was behind the scenes in my PR agency business. When I decided I wanted to help more people get the visibility they deserve, I took this stuff online. And I actually was really nervous to do that. I was used to being behind the scenes. I was like, you know what, I'll have a website, I'll have some programs, but I'm not going to put my picture out there or videos or anything. But I did somehow want to help people. So really, I don't think I knew what I was getting into. So that obviously does not fly. We have to put ourselves out there when we're going to do something in the online space. And in the world these days, you need to have an online presence. So, really like being able to put yourself out there, attract the people you're meant to work with. So that's where I started gathering a community as I did put myself out there with videos and events, and created a community online. I have the Shine Strategy Insiders on Facebook, which is a free community. And then I started creating the programs to support the people who were showing up.
Now, what's the name of the community again?
The Shine Strategy Insiders. And I did have a podcast called The Shine Strategy. And my big thing is all about the shine. I love that. That's really how, when you get to the positioning, packaging and presenting yourself to the world is when you're shining your gifts into the world.
Hey, y'all, it's time to shine. I think that's what she's saying. I think she's telling you it's time to shine. So for those of you that have been dimming your light, not exactly sure why, it's time to shine. I love that. How long have you been doing this? You got a lot going on.
Yes. Well, I will say that I started my PR career by falling into an internship in 1996 at a high-tech PR firm in Cambridge, Mass, launching America Online as a consumer brand. So it's over 25 years now. After that, I went to the Ritz-Carlton Boston, worked in hospitality PR. Then I hopped a plane to Hollywood because I wanted to be a movie publicist. So it's been a long journey.
You have an incredible career. You've had to pivot a few times. Sometimes change is hard for people. So talk to me about having to change. Talk to me about the pivot, because that is also something that you help people kind of navigate through. Yes?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say there were 2 like kind of big critical moments that shifted for me. One was when my grandmother passed, my last living grandparent. I was very close. She was like a best friend. We were so close. And losing her a few years back was really heartbreaking. And that was when I decided, I want to do more with my gifts. I want to make my grandmother proud. And that was when I decided I was going to have that shift of starting to help more people through, online programs. Now, the latest shift was the onset of the pandemic. As for many people, when my PR agency, all my events got wiped out, and it was a little bit of that, what the heck is going on here? Are we hitting the zombie apocalypse? The first thing I did was think about my three of my four grandparents who enlisted in World War II. And I thought, if they could be that brave and do that, like, I want to serve and help and enlist and dive deeper into my purpose to help my community. So that's when I started doing more of my online events and programs and launched my mastermind. And so truly the pandemic was a time for me to really lean deeper into the purpose.
Talk to me about strategic collaborations. I hold them in the highest regard. I do think that people working together is such a dynamic, it's a dynamic way to empower PR, because then I get to know your people get to know what I do, and vice versa. What kind of strategy have you used in regards to collaborations that have worked best for you?
Yeah, that's a great question, because when you think about it, there really are only three ways to connect with new people, customers or clients, and that's through the free organic traffic, the publicity tools that you yourself practice, the things I do in my business, paid advertising, which most people don't have the budgets for that, and then the referral and partnerships. So that is such a beautiful thing. I've had way more success leaning into. We have an official affiliate program. That over, say, Facebook ads. Like, we'd spent a lot on Facebook ads, not much results. But I lean into my affiliates, say, hey, this is happening. You can share and earn a referral commission. And they share far and wide. And that's how we've really grown our audience and our community in a bigger way.
Storytelling. We talk about it often. I think there's rules to storytelling. There's a place and a time for everything. They must be relevant. You must have a level of, confidence when people are sharing their stories. But I definitely think that they connect people, right? How do you use storytelling in your business?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it comes down to really being able to speak the language of your client and make that emotional connection, right? That's when you think of the biggest brands out there, how they've done it, like Coca-Cola, have a Coke and a smile, or I'd like to teach the world to sing, right? It's when you can truly like draw people into your authenticity, your vulnerability, when they can feel you, that's the most important thing you can be doing in your business.
I love that. Do you teach people how to tell their story in a way that connects them?
Yeah, we're looking at often having a nice balance of authority and credibility, right? A lot of people are leaning into maybe just one or the other. I think it's truly the combo that is kind of a no-fail scenario. So when you can tell why, you're a credible person and why people would want to use you as a resource, and also compel them with an interesting story that does maybe tug at the heartstrings or inspire them a little bit, then it's, you're sure to draw in those people that are going to want to work with you.
I love it. You have a lot of accolades. Reading your bio, took some time to dive in. Like, how have you been able to accomplish all of these amazing things? Because most people would look at something like that. I have a few of my own, like, oh my God, how do you do that? But at the end of the day, for me, it's been just doing the work. Talk about some of your accolades, and then were they something that you were working towards, or did you just happen to look up after you've been doing all the work and you're like, okay, I'm being acknowledged for my work? Like, talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I try to have my clients work speaking opportunities, editorial opportunities, awards opportunities into their plan when they're building their profiles. So there are always a ton of awards happening throughout the year in whatever industry you're in. So for myself personally, I was given a PRism Award. I received from the PR Society of America for a book campaign, an international book campaign. And that was having worked on the project, been very proud of it, and then realized, wow, I was actually eligible to submit my case study for a PRism Award, and went through the proper channels, did it and actually beat out some pretty big agencies. I think they were like, because at the time had a boutique agency. I think they were like, who in the heck is this person beating out Edelman and all these big companies?
It makes sense. I just wanted to hear them say that because as women, we definitely need to be okay with having goals, right? And not just some basic goals. Have some high goals. Have some far-reaching things that you think you cannot achieve and go after them. The things you thought it would never happen, go after them. Because if you don't, it's for someone else. It's not for you. And you know what you want. It's okay to say that. Like, say it, put it in the environment, put it in your plan, put it in your strategy, then reverse engineer it and go after it. There's nothing more fulfilling than seeing your work come to fruition and that people appreciate it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have some cool stuff coming up, and I think I wanted you to talk about it to the people so that in the case that they decide they want to be involved or active with your group and what you have going on, they could definitely do that.
That would be wonderful for anyone here who is interested in increasing their visibility. I've come up with this new model of something fun to do in my own business, which is our Visibility 30 Challenge, which is 30 days of email support with simple 5 to 10-minute daily actions you can take to increase your visibility in just a month. And alongside of that, we're doing visibility parties. So we're featuring 20 speakers. We have one actually tomorrow, Tuesday at 1 p.m. And this is the way to get into the VIP list, to be notified anytime we're having one of these parties. And the cool thing is, if you do the challenge or come to the parties, you get invited to submit as a featured speaker. So we're looking for ways to raise the profile of people that really deserve to have their message out there in a bigger way. So if you think that's you, we would love to have you join us and come out and play.
Thank you for sharing. Let the people know how they can get in touch with you, follow your work, and get involved in what you have going on.
Yeah, well, the free group is a great way to stay connected. The Shine Strategy Insiders on Facebook. Our site is prstars.net. Instagram, I'm heather.burgett. So I'm definitely out there. I practice what I teach and have a pretty decent online profile if you just Google me. And it would be wonderful to stay connected.
Absolutely. Listen, before I let you go, I want to circle back to something you said earlier in regards to your brand and your target market and how things have changed. We didn't start this conversation about your company. We started the conversation about your story and what you do. And I want you to talk about why that is important.
Yeah, well, I always say, especially if you have a business and a brand, you're trying to get out there in the world, is that people don't connect to companies and logos. People connect to people. Yeah, I hear some cheering. Yeah. Yeah. So people want to know you. They want to know the face and the person behind the company and the brand and the products or the services. So you are your brand, you are your company. So really infusing all of you, your heart, your soul into what you're doing is the thing that's going to make you magnetic and attract those clients and customers that you so badly want to connect with.
I absolutely appreciate that. We actually say that in speaking too, when you are giving a keynote or you're talking about something to an audience, you don't have to start off with your name and your company. Start off with something that's going to get the attention of the listener. Start off with something that's going to grab the moment for the attendees, right? The rest of it will come because when people are interested in your story, they're going to stick around to hear the rest of it. And I think it's been absolutely amazing being able to talk to you about how your grandparents have motivated you, about how your business was able to pivot and you've been able to be successful post-COVID. Are you post-COVID now? Are you back in person with some things?
I'm actually holding my first live event in Santa Monica on April 9th. So I guess so. I guess we're getting back to some real world activities, which is very exciting.
How absolutely amazing does that feel? We made it.
It's a good feeling.
We made it. So if you guys are looking for any answers, any help, any support, any collaborations, we're here for it. That's it. We're here for it because there is no one thing about PR is there is no one size fits all, right? And there's so many different ways to expand your audience, to tell your story and to connect with people that help you elevate your message. It's all there. It's all there. So stay connected, tap in, reach out to Heather, to me. Let us know if you have any questions. Anything you send in, I can send to her, or head on over to prstars.net, fill out her visibility party form, get in the potty, and have a little fun with growing your business. It does not have to be like, oh, so mundane. And for me, PR is actually the fun part. It's the storytelling, it's the connecting. Who else can I find to connect with the story? Like, oh my God, it's so amazing. That's why it's important that you work in an industry that you love, because yeah, it does take a lot of work to grow your brand, to elevate your message. But if you love it, it's not work, really. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with that. Yeah, I keep saying like, wow, if you told me this is what I was going to be doing a few years ago, it gets me jumping out of bed in the morning, knowing I have this purpose-driven, community of people getting visible with their messages. And, my word of the year, I always do a word of the year, was fun this year. And I wanted to have a lot more fun, which is why we're having visibility parties. So yeah, feeling lit up in your business also is the thing that really gets people going, paying attention. I've had people step into my programs and say, I wasn't even sure why I joined, but I just knew that I wanted to be in connection and work with you. And it's because of that energy exchange that you bring, right? You're bringing your authenticity of who you are, and people feel that.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story and your company and your goals and your thoughts about PR. We absolutely appreciate it. And I look forward to staying connected to you myself.
Thank you. And your community is so lucky to have you here. Thank you for having me. And yeah, I'm sure there's much more fun to come for both of us in the future. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. See you next week.